guys, so just to quickly introduce what I'm going to be doing on these book videos. So I'd say a few years ago it took me quite a while to read a book. I'd lose interest, I wasn't really sure what kind of books I'm interested in, and I'd say I only read my first full book just a couple of years ago. And in the past year, or especially in the last few months, I've really been getting into books more and reading them faster and finding out what books I'm more involved in. And it's because I've been looking forward to the end of the day where I come to read my book. I feel a bit more focused when I'm reading as well, and I feel like my brain's working a bit faster. I set myself a task on my 22nd birthday, which was a month ago, to read a book a week for the rest of the year. So I thought to myself, I could just vlog which book I'm finding, and maybe a few people could do it along with me, and I could say like what book I'm going to do next and which one you can read as well, so we can sort of read it together if that's something you'd be interested in doing. So this week's book is The Couple Next Door, which is by Shari Lapena. I hope I'm saying that right, but I'm not too sure. I really discovered that I love books where people are going missing, or a thriller, a fast-paced book, a book where I have no idea what's going on. It seems to be this recurring theme recently of like unreliable narrators, and this isn't obviously a narrator like Gone Girl or The Girl on the Train, but the characters are so unpredictable and you don't really know that they feel a bit human, you know, because humans are unpredictable. So the book starts with Anna and Marco next door at their couple's next door neighbours, which is Cynthia, who is one of my favourite characters of the novel, and I wish she was in a little bit more. She just sort of pops in now and then, throwing a few twists in there, and then there's a massive twist at the end, which I'm not even going to say just in case you've not read the book. But I'm going to try, there's going to be a few spoilers, but I'm not going to try and spoil too much just in case you've not read the book yet. So I'll keep it like a bit reviewy. So Cynthia is definitely one of my favourite characters of the novel. She's like a real strong character of the novel. Like I wish she was in it a little bit more. I found her quite interesting, and even though she wasn't necessarily likeable, I was kind of like a few things I was kind of like chuckling to myself at, like a few of the descriptions of her and what she thinks and stuff. And like I think there's a really great description of who she is, and she has a strong presence when she comes into the chapter, which she just sort of like bobs in and out. There's not really major things in there, but the plot is mainly driven by, at the end of the first chapter, Anne and Marco come back and they find that baby Cora is missing after there's the door open, and obviously they have no idea. So then the detective comes in, who I think is the real eye of the reader. Like the detective comes in and he knows what we know, and he's sort of suspecting what we suspect, you know, about Anne, about Marco. Did they do it? And then there's the whole Anne's parents come into it, and there's so many twists. So for the first half of the novel, it's really just like unraveling like little bits and bobs. It's a bit detective-y, a bit crimey, to find out where has Cora gone. And that's really the first half of the novel. Then I'd say the second half of the novel shifts a little, because then there's a twist where, spoiler alert, it turns out that Marco, who I actually liked for the first half, was reading it, I was like, okay, even though some parts of his parenting is very shady, I thought he was a really interesting character in the fact that he seemed a bit lost, and I'm not like, I feel like he was a little bit not the smartest character in the world, and it was quite easily led, which I was quite surprised then when I found out that he obviously, to please his parents, he was the one who took Cora with this other man, this mystery man who was in the car at the night time and took Cora away. So there was that twist, and I was kind of like, whoa, okay, I was not expecting that. And then suddenly after that, there's even more twists, because that could have easily been the end of the novel. Like you find out what happens, and you're like, oh god, he comes back, tells Anne, but there's so many more twists after that, because then you find out that really, because he isn't, like I said, he isn't the smartest character, Marco. He was led into it by, I'm not going to say actually, but by another character in the novel. He was led into it, and then in the last few chapters everything sort of unravels. And I think because so much is happening so fast throughout this whole novel, and because you've got so many characters, which are like, sometimes you've not got enough characters in like a thriller-y type novel to, especially when you've got suspect people. I feel like there's enough characters to suspect, like, what? So who am I supposed to trust here? And I think because of that, like, I read this book, I think the fastest book I've ever read anything. I read it in like 3-4 days, and I just ploughed through. I sat here in my garden and I read the book in a good 6 hours. I think I just ploughed through the majority of the book because I was just so engrossed. And it was in that second half of the book when you find out what happened with Marco, and I was like, what's going on? Then there's this whole Anne twist where she like blacks out, and like then she starts to question herself, and I was like, what is actually going on here? Like, where is Cora? And then I'm not going to spoil the end for you, but Cynthia somehow there's like a peaceful resolution, and then the last chapter you are like, what just happened? What just happened? Because sort of changes everything. And then it was I quite liked the fact that it was the last chapter, because I almost put the book down after the chapter before, because I was like, oh okay, and I felt that was the end, and then I turned over the page and I was like, there's another chapter. That last chapter, I was just like, I don't know if it's a part of me felt like it was a tiny bit unnecessary, but I'm kind of glad it was there because it just kind of blew my mind a little bit, and it was a nice way to end the novel. But I'm not really sure if it's a peaceful resolution that the chapter before was, but it sort of leaves it all up in the air of what's actually going to happen and who's what. So overall, I definitely want to check out more from her. Like I said before, she has a new novel out, which is called A Stranger in the House, which is out now. So I think that's definitely going to be one of the books that I'm going to read as part of my book club thing. The couple next book I would definitely recommend. It's really got me enticed into reading again. Really easy read, not too much going on. There's a lot going on, but not too much confusing stuff. You know, it's quite simple terminology, simple plot-ish, and I'd say it's a really engrossing book. There's lots going on. There's a great sense of character, great sense of mystery, and you've got some nice contrasts in there as well. And the main thing is like, if you love a good novel where it's like what has happened to a character, I definitely recommend, you know, if you like the whole Gone Girl, Girl on the Train thing, Couple Next Door is definitely for you. Yeah, because it's just a really engrossing book. So tell me what you think as well of the novel. Which characters did you connect with? What did you find it an easy read to plough through? Did it take a little bit longer? For me, I think it's definitely one of my favourite books I've read in my little weekly books thing that I've been doing. Next week's book that I'm going to be reading is A Girl Before, which is by J.P. Delany. I think I've got that right. So if you want to do this book thing with me, so check out The Girl Before, one of them, one or the other. But it's quite like a big book at the moment. I think it's tying in with the whole Gone Girl, Girl on the Train typey thing. I've actually started reading it already, and I'm getting into it. Like it's a really good, strong plot. So yeah, check it out, and also let me know what you think of The Couple Next Door, and let me know if you want to follow my a book a week task. Thank you for watching.